Hey everybody, it's Barry with Barry Stuff Arts. So this is my first time trying to do a voice recording, so apologies if the sound quality is not that great. I currently have two recording options, which is either my cell phone or my gaming mic, so I went with my gaming mic. So for this video, this is a painting I did for my sister for Mother's Day. Uh, it was kind of the first guinea pig for trying to do voice recording, but I wanted to do a little bit more talking than typing in a bunch of subtitles. So here we are. It was kind of interesting while editing this video because while I was actually drawing and painting and doing everything, I was doing a FaceTime painting with a friend of mine because, you know, we're in quarantine right now, so we can't hang out with each other and paint and chit chat. So I had a lot of dead time in these videos, and I also had my kids running around in the background. So there's a lot of cutting out of dead space. Another thing I realized while editing this is I'm still trying to get the hang of recording while in frame. I'm still adjusting my recording setup right now. For this video I used an old iPhone 5, which surprisingly still works. The date doesn't like to agree because it's not connected to cell towers anymore, but it still gets the job done. So yeah, there's that. I actually had a piece of tape on my desk that told me where I needed to be ahead of to be in the shot, but for some reason I thought I knew what I was doing and I took that tape off. As you can see multiple times, I was wrong. I will say while I'm doing my videos, I am trying to make them as short as possible without cutting out too much. I kind of like for them to have a little bit of the process in there that I do, even though I'm still learning good ways to, like, I'm still learning watercolors. I only did it just recently. Right now I personally feel I'm a lot better with markers than I am watercolors, but I really want to get the hang of watercolors, so I am trying to do more with them just right now. Trying to find the time is a little bit more tricky as I have to work a second or third shift now due to splitting up my coworkers and I so we don't have too many people in one tiny space, because, you know, before everything happened we had about 8 people within, it's probably like 60 square feet, maybe a little bit bigger. I'm really kind of bad at gauging the space like that, but it was a tiny space. It was probably actually closer to, you know, 100 plus square feet. But we still had, you know, so many of us together, and we'd have contractors and everyone else come in, so they wanted to split people up on shifts, and so I volunteered for the second shift. Uh, but turns out that it splits up a lot of my free time, and so I have less time to sit down and do art while, you know, trying to spend time with my kids and my husband. So art kind of gets put on the back burner. So now we're here at the exciting part. Um, First of all, I don't have very many brushes that I can stand to gunk up with masking fluid. But this one, as you can see in the video, I ended up having to tape the ferrule back on because when I tried to grab it out of my collection that I had rubber banded together, the ferrule came off. So yeah, there's that. This is my first time using masking fluid, and my friend kind of just convinced me to go for it, and I probably should have tested it out on something else so I didn't ruin the picture, because I have watched other artists use it, and it has potential to rip up the paper. So I was actually pretty happy that this was an overall successful experience. I really liked using it, and because it worked so well for me, I am definitely more willing to try and use it in the future. I did have to use one of my better brushes and just clean it very well afterwards, because as you can tell with the brush I'm using right now, it is not a very fine point brush. It was an older acrylic brush I think I had from years ago, and the ends are all kinds of messed up. So I had to grab one of my finer detail ones to do a lot more of the fine details for the smaller flowers. It goes on pretty well. Um, I wanted to make sure I had it thick enough, but not too thick. I wanted it to dry, but I didn't want it to be too thin so that, that it didn't work. The brand I used, I'm not really sure how to say this, but it's like Pebeo or Pebeo Drawing Gum. And it's a blue liquid, and you shake it up. Well, I shook it up before I used it, and then you just use a brush to paint it on. I would say it took about 20 minutes to dry with a thin enough layer. So, with this part of the painting, I have no chill. So once I got this like light gray purple on there, I've seen other people use salt as a nice texture, and I really liked the idea of doing that. But like after I got the salt on there, I didn't like that the purple was as light as it was, and I didn't film it because I turned off the camera while I was waiting it to dry and talking to my friend, but I kept adding more color, and eventually I just kind of had to take a heat gun to it to dry it so that way I would stop messing with it. This part was pretty much, I think my favorite part about the whole painting was actually peeling off the masking fluid and actually it working out perfectly. It came off easy and it didn't tear up my paper, which I was so excited about. I would say though, while it was very satisfying to have it peel off, the thing that it was such a rubbery feeling that kind of like gave me like chills, like it just grossed me out. So like the satisfying feeling of peeling it off mixed with the gross feeling of peeling it off kind of balanced out, but I still quite enjoyed it. So painting it is kind of where I felt like it started to go downhill a little bit for me, because I really need to learn to have some patience and appreciation for watercolors. I kept messing with stuff that wasn't dry yet. I kept messing with the colors too much. Really, my biggest issue was not waiting for stuff to be dry. And that caused a lot of issues for me. Like the pink flower, I actually, for the most part, really like how that came out. this blue flower on the other hand. This is the one that really gave me the most trouble. I had a lot of issues with diluting the cobalt teal down to get a color that wasn't too watery but still gave me, it was vibrant enough that I liked. And after a certain point, it had too much in it, and it looked too granulated, too much that I liked. And then I just kind of kept adding to it, and then I didn't wait when I started doing the middle, and it bled into it a lot, and then you'll see. Really, patience and learning to layer things would probably be something that would benefit me in the future with learning watercolors and just trying to get better at them. That blue flower just gave me so many issues between just straight up not doing what I wanted to do and me not being patient. Like, going through and editing those videos, while I knew it while I was painting it, it's actually kind of nice to go back and sit here and spend so much time looking at the footage, kind of seeing areas where I need to have more patience here, or I could just analyze it and hopefully, you know, retain some of the knowledge that I've learned while doing this so I can hopefully do better next time. Here's about my second favorite part after peeling off all of the masking fluid, which is the satisfying feeling of peeling off all the tape and seeing the finished piece. I really love the clean borders, and overall, hiccups aside, I really enjoyed this piece and I liked it. If you sat through this whole video and watched it to the end, thank you. Sorry if the sound quality is not that good, and I will try and do better next time. Thank you, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.